Mikal, how are you today?
Good. How
Or
are you, Phil?
good, or how are you this evening? Where are you based?
I am in Ottawa,
In Ottawa, lovely city, capital
Canada.
of Canada.
Yes.
Okay, are you ready to give us your presentation?
Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be. My name is Mikal Sadek, and I'm from Ottawa, Canada. Before I begin, I would like to sincerely thank the GYC judges, organizers, and volunteers for this incredible opportunity. Your dedication makes this platform possible, and I am truly honored to be here today. AI is transforming our world, optimizing energy, water, and material use to improve sustainability. But did you know that AI itself consumes enormous resources? In 2024 alone, ChatGPT may have used over 500 megawatt hours of electricity and 85 billion liters of water just for cooling. And as AI expands, energy shortages could limit its progress. Some solutions to this problem can include the use of microchips that rely on light instead of electricity, resulting in faster and more efficient calculations, and to reuse the wastewater from cooling AI computers. But there's another side to the story, one that's often ignored. Because AI's environmental impact is not just about the power and the water usage, it's about what AI is made of, where it's built, and how we define efficiency itself. And if we don't address this, AI could become one of the most resource draining technologies in history. First, there's the materials problem. AI runs on microchips, and these microchips uh, are made out of rare earth materials like gallium and neodymium. These materials are only mined in select places in the world, often under unethical conditions. For example, 60% of the world's cobalt comes from the Congo, where mining has devastating social and environmental impacts. If AI keeps growing without innovation in chip materials, we risk major shortages and, more importantly, ecological damage. Then there is the space problem. AI doesn't just exist in the cloud, it exists in data centers, giant buildings packed with thousands of power hungry computers. Right
Mm,
now, data centers take up over 700 million square feet in the US alone.
mm,
As AI expands, it's not just competing for energy, it's competing for physical space with farms, forests, and communities. Finally,
mm.
the AI industry is obsessed with bigger models, more parameters, and more processing power. But at what cost? Studies show that up to 80% of AI computations are redundant, meaning we're burning resources on unnecessary processing. Instead of constantly scaling up, we need AI that's designed smarter and not just bigger. So, how do we redefine AI's efficiency? Instead of training massive, wasteful systems, we must optimize algorithms for efficiency. Secondly, researchers must find abundant, recyclable alternatives to rare earth metals. And thirdly, waste heat and water from AI data centers must be repurposed to power cities and homes. AI shouldn't just help sustainability, it should be sustainable itself. This is a challenge for researchers, industries, and policymakers alike. The future of AI depends on how we build it today. And if we do it right, we won't just be advancing technology, we will be securing a future where AI and sustainability go hand in hand. The time to act is now. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Mikal. You know, we often forget that there's an infrastructure that supports what we think of AI as being an invisible,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, invisible something you can't see, but it's supported by this tremendous infrastructure, and that is a problem. Thank you for that. You have a question, I think, coming from Professor Todd Green.
Yeah, that was great, Mikhail. I, I think it's really important to look at the potential negative inputs of AI and yeah, awesome. I do have to ask if you are an Ottawa Senators fan first, because that will. No, I'm just kidding. Do you think the average consumer is concerned about the resources required by AI tools? And I feel like a lot of people might just sort of take it for granted. So how do you make the average person worry about this or be aware of it? That's I think maybe a big question, but hopefully something you have considered.
Yes, thank you for that very important question. Um, so yes, it is not really a great concern for many, as this topic is not really put out there. Right now, if you go search up about how much power, how much water, how many resources does AI consume just to operate, you won't find much. You might find that, for example, this is one of the most popular things, which is every time you give ChatGPT a prompt and it gives you a 100-word response, that 100-word response takes over a water bottle's worth of water.
Hmm.
And this adds up and becomes, for example, in 2024, 85 billion liters of water. And AI is growing exponentially. So this amount is gonna double, triple. Uh, for raising awareness about this
Mhm.
issue, I think that governments, for example, should be placing regulations where AI companies are required to publicly provide the statistics of how much power was used, how much water was used, etc. Another thing would be maybe incorporating this into the education system. Right now, um, educational aspects of AI are how to use AI, copyright, and the like. That's great, but it's also a great opportunity to expose students to the issues of sustainability regarding the use of AI. Um, yeah, and I think that if many
Hmm.
people, if they were made aware that one water bottle is equal to a 100-word prompt, it would greatly not lessen their usage, but they would use ChatGPT in a smarter way. They would only use it for useful responses, for example. They wouldn't use it as much for entertainment, for example. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm going to, after your presentation, I'm going to ask ChatGPT how bad it is for the environment and see if it's honest. No, great work, Mikhail. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll never forget. I'll never forget one bottle, one chat GPT response. I've been listening very, very carefully, as much as I could, uh, working some technology in front of me here. But I think you're the first student today to mention the chat GPT. I don't think I've heard anyone say chat GPT. So that's great. Let's not talk about it anymore. Thank you so much. You have a question coming from Kelly Schultz. Kelly, go
I
ahead.
think
Oh, oh, Kel
for my
Kelly, just a second.
internet to catch up.
Yeah,
Hopefully that is. There we go. I froze. I'm sorry. The joys of technology. Thank you, Mikal. I very much appreciate you talking about the environmental factor of artificial intelligence. I know that it is quite high, and there's a lot to consider. You had mentioned there was a few factors that you were discussing. The mining piece, the electricity piece, and the water piece. Out of those kind of areas about AI, which one are you most concerned about environmentally? And what do you think we can do about that to kind of mediate that piece?
Thank you. That's also another extremely important question. Um, I think that we should not think of one more important than the other. We need all three. All three are essential in our lives. Um, I think one of the solutions was I mentioned it briefly in the I can elaborate on it here is the use of photonic microchips. So basically, photonic microchips rely on light instead of electricity, so also known as fiber optics. This makes these chips up to 1,000 times faster and more efficient, and they use way less power. And with that comes the result that you do not need as many chips running at the same time to perform the same number of calculations, ultimately reducing the number of water needed to cool. So tackling the problem at the source, which is the computers that power AI, I think would be the solution in reducing the resource usage of AI.